This is a presentation for the Winnipeg Philatelic Society, Western Canada's oldest stamp club. And it's on a question I get asked all the time: how much is my stamp worth? And it's about catalog value. I've done one of these before, but this is a little different. And how to identify your stamp in the catalog. And it's about two stamps that I was trying to identify, and for a brief, glorious moment, I thought one of the stamps was worth a lot of money because it had a high catalog value. Now, I should have reminded myself that perhaps you never sell for what the catalog value is, but for a minute or two, I thought I had a really valuable stamp. So let's kind of go through some of that and some of the stuff I talked about before. Now, catalog value, it's a guide and not a guarantee. There is no one at the catalog company that is prepared to buy the stamp from you for that value. You have to find someone to buy the stamp. And it is for a perfect stamp. The grade is very fine, and it has to be absolutely perfect in all respects. Probably if you're buying an expensive stamp, you need a certificate, and they're not cheap to get. But you need a certificate that says, yeah, it's genuine, really is a genuine stamp, and it's correctly described, and it's very fine. And this is all complicated. Now, similar stamps can have a different catalog number, and it can be watermark or perforation. There's no watermark or perforation in these stamps I'm going to show you. Color varieties, and that can be really hard if you have only one stamp. You really need to have one of each of the stamps that you can look at, and very carefully, and maybe have an expert say, oh no, that one's red brown, and that one's dark brown, and that one's olive brown. You're going, okay. There can also be tiny engraving differences, and the other thing is it's description or illustration A1, and many times there's more than one stamp that is A1. Now, the front of the Scott catalog lists different die differences, watermarks, commons, designs, has pictures and descriptions, and I find that hard even then. And similar stamps, if they're older stamps before 1900, somebody's looked at them 3 or 4 times before you got them, and if they really were a valuable stamp, they would have noticed it and sold it to someone else, and you don't have it. So you have to look very hard for similar stamps in the catalog to make sure that yours is really valuable. And my kind of rule is, when I find 2, I'm going, well, mine's the lowest catalog value on rats. And also don't be dazzled by catalog value. A high catalog value doesn't mean there's somebody standing there with a handful of cash prepared to buy your stamp from you for the catalog value. So here is a stamp that I had. It's actually kind of a pretty stamp, It's got nice big margins. And so I looked in the catalog, and hey, there it is. Scott Design A1. All right, it's Scott number 1, $550. This is fantastic. I have a stamp that's worth $550. Except when I looked more closely at Design A1, it doesn't have the 1 in a big white box, and Hermes' head is smaller in this stamp. It's much bigger in Design A1. So I had this stamp as well, and yeah, there it is. That is Scott A1, Design A1. And goody, Scott number 1, 1 lepton. It's chocolate brownish. Chocolate means the color of the stamp. Okay, that looks like chocolate. And brownish is the color of the paper. Looks kind of brownish, I guess. I don't know. And it's noted as imperforate. And that is imperforate. And there's no number on the back, and there isn't a number on the back. Yay, it's worth $550. Right on. But wait, Scott number 8 has exactly the same description, and it has a value of $490, except 490 is in italics, and that means it may be a fake cancellation, and if it's a fake cancellation to make it have a high catalog value, it's not worth that much. But wait, there are two color varieties, one for $1,325 and one for $590, but I can't tell the difference in the color. I need an expert to decide the color, but it's got to be one of these three, and it could be up to $1,300. Yay! But wait. Number 16, 23, 30, 32, 38, 43, and 51 are all the same design. And number 16 is the same with figures on the back. And I went, oh great, mine doesn't have figures on the back. This does, except for the one lepta value. Rats. So the lack of figures on the back doesn't mean it's number 16. And number 23 is gray-brown, again with figures on the back, except for the one lepta. And then there's deep reddish brown, brown and brownish paper, grayish brown and straw paper, olive brown, dark brown, and yellowish paper. Applying my rule, I think I've got the 1350 stamp. Except the top margin has two chunks out of it. Now they haven't got into the design of the stamp, so that's okay. The left margin is irregular. Now it still hasn't got into the design of the stamp, but it's still kind of not the most beautiful of beautifuls. The bottom margin is kind of on an angle and it has a little chunk out of it, so it's irregular too. And the right margin is right into the stamp. So the margins dramatically reduce the value of this stamp. Though it's got kind of an interesting cancel, which I can't read because it's upside down. So again, I probably need an expert to tell me, is that actually an interesting cancel? And what does it really mean? Because I kind of can't read it. Don't know what it means. I think it's in Greek letters, so I don't know what it means. Now then what I did was I looked up what people have got these stamps for sale for. Now they're for sale, and that means they haven't sold. And there were three stamps that I couldn't find, but the 550 stamp for $25, the $500 stamp for $200, that's not bad, half catalog. 60 for $9, next three I couldn't find a value. 75 for $30, 49 for $20, $13.50 for $7. So I think I need an expert. Now the catalog does have three pictures to help you differentiate the printings. They all look the same to me. There is a slight difference in shading. I kind of get it. But I think I need an expert. And I think I need someone who has all of these stamps with all of these different colors, who can line them up and then show me which one mine is. And I think I've decided I'm going with it's a $7 value that maybe I could sell it for $7, or maybe I couldn't even sell it for $7 because it's got kind of messed up perfs. But I'm kind of glad to have the stamp to see what it looks like. And it was fun to think it was worth $500 for a while. But it isn't. So then we decide, what is this stamp? And if you look in the catalog, actually it says Hermes large head and Hermes small head. This is obviously the small head. And we have two choices, number 64 and number 90, brown and black brown with a clear impression and a poor impression. I kind of think I've got the clear impression, and it looks browner to me than black brown, but I could be wrong. So yippee, I have a catalog value of $4. And actually the 275 one, people are selling them for 75 cents or 65 cents. I think it's actually probably number 64. So if I wish to put it up for sale and pay a 30% commission for PayPal and this and that and the other, I could sell it for 65 cents and get 30 cents, 40 cents for it. So again, I'm kind of glad to have this stamp. It's got nice big margins. It's nice. Got kind of a nice cancel. So I like to have that stamp. It's from a long time ago. It's from 1866 or something like that. So it's a nice stamp and I like it and it's interesting, but it's not worth a lot of money. Rats. Now, again, catalog value is a guide, not a guarantee, and it has to be for a perfect stamp with a grade of very fine and a certificate. It's complicated. And then there are other differentiations other than the multitude that are described here. It could also be perforation differences, watermark differences, printing differences, the type of paper. And there may be more than one. There may be a perforation and a watermark difference. Now, these are all described in detail either at the front of the catalog or in the catalog. But again, unless you're an expert and unless you have all these different types to line up and say, oh, I see, this is that one and that's that one, I get it. Very hard to do. And then mint, there's no cancel and full gum on the back. There's mint never hinged, mint lightly hinged, mint heavy hinged. Before around 1930 in the catalog value is for mint hinged because all those stamps were at once in someone's collection. Mint never hinged is the value after 1930. And the catalog will say when. It differs by country. There's also mint no gum, and there's unused, which is mint no gum, and there's regummed, which is fake. There's too many things to think about here. And used can be cancelled to order, which are worth less. Heavy cancel, messy cancels are worth less. Fancy cancels are worth more. The color of the cancel can be worth more or less. Socked on the nose, a city and date legible, more, and all of these are influenced by what particular type of stamp collectors are focusing on, rightly or wrongly. You collect whatever you want. So there are many variations even in a used stamp. Now, dealers sell for between 30 and 50% of catalog. Hence, they're going to buy for less. And the dealer cost is the time sorting and presenting for sale. So if you go to a dealer with that big box of unsorted, miscellaneous, not soaked off the paper stamps, they're probably not interested. If they are well sorted, in a stock book, identified, damaged stamps have been thrown away, they might buy them. Lower value, not sorted, not off paper, probably not. It's going to take them too much time. High catalog value stamps, maybe you can sell for 10%. More if they're absolutely, absolutely perfect. But the dealer is going to be making a decision that he's selling that stamp for 30 or to 50% of catalog. He's going to pay you less than that. And the other thing to understand, if you go in with 1,000 stamps that have a 40-cent catalog value, maybe you can sell them for 40 cents. So be careful with catalog value. So thanks for listening.